this is the new Flint and Steel strikers that I have from Motor Forge. Now I found, I know that a lot of people already know about him, but I found him on Instagram and looked at a lot of his stuff, and these were the two that really intrigued me most. I'm a huge fan of the English style. Sorry about that. I'm a huge fan of the English style Flint strikers, and this one was the one that kind of intrigued me. This is his, I think what he calls his multi-tool striker, or his multi, I think that's what it's called. But both of these you can find on his website. Now what's cool about this one is it's actually got a beveled edge right here, and then a pretty, well, not a hard 90 degree, but you know, fairly hard, or fairly sharp 90 degree here, but it's flat on one side and beveled on the other. And to strike it, you've got to, if you want to hold the flint here, you've got to come here, because otherwise this hook will get caught. Or if you want to strike down, you just flip it around. And I've been playing with this. I am left-handed, so I don't know if this is made for a right-handed person, but I'll show you what, you know, how this works and stuff, especially for scraping a ferro rod. It is unbelievable. And just to let you know too, this isn't so sharp that you're going to slice your finger open or slice your pockets or anything in your kit. It's just enough of a bevel and an edge to catch really well, and it scrapes really well and all that. So, and then this is his English pattern. This one throws massive sparks, massive sparks, and these are both hand forged. Alright, so let's show you what it can do. Alright, so what I've got here is just a couple of different natural materials, and I've got my chart in and my knife, because I was going to make some feathers and all of that, but I have a piece of cedar, I have some birch bark, my char tin, and a stick of some fat wood. And then I've got a couple of pieces of flint and my ferro rod, and then the two strikers. So right off the bat, I'll show you the multi-striker and how it works as a scraper and all that, especially for your ferro rod stuff. So what I'll do is, to keep the wife from getting mad at me, I'll make a pile of stuff onto here, and then I'll light it, and then just put it out in the fire. So a lot of people I know have 90-degree spines, and you won't really need a scraper if you've got a 90-degree spine in your knife. But for those that don't have 90-degree spines or don't prefer that, this is definitely an option for you. You know, also too, it's just good to have redundancies with you. So let's see if we can get some of this cedar bark processed down. You know, I mean, at some point you can peel this off in small pieces, but to really get to it, you want to scrape it. And you can do this both ways. Like I said, this isn't so sharp that it's going to lace you open. And for me playing with it too, I don't know if he put the bevel in a certain way that is for, you know, whether you're right-handed or left-handed. Because like the issue that I run into, especially with serrated knives, is the serrations. Let's see what it does right here. The serrations on most serrated knives, look at that. The serrations on most serrated knives are serrated in such a way that if this is your knife, when you hold it in your right hand, the cuts are at the top and the flat part of the blade is on the bottom. So when you push down, it's using the grooves of the serrations, and it cuts better for you. And if you try to flip that around and put it in your left hand where the serration's underneath, it wants to dig in. So it's not often that I find serrations that are on the left side for me. And you know, I haven't seen that this is an issue, because right now I've got the flat part here and I can angle it up and work the bevel, or I can turn it upside down and just draw it to me. So as far as scraping, that's not an issue. I mean, you can see it does a great job here, especially if you can get down here on the end and get underneath some of the parts that are already stuck up. It'll just peel it right off for you. So we'll use this as part of some of our tinder when we get a flint and steel fire going. All right. So we saw how it worked with the cedar. Now let's see what it does with this birch bark. Now this has been rolled up, so this could be a little bit of a task here. And I don't have birch bark here in Texas, so this is stuff that I've gotten from a friend. But the way that they've told me, it's doing perfect. Actually, I don't even need this whole piece. I'll save that. So see, it's fluffed that up real nice. Alright, we'll put that to the side. We'll add all this here in a second. Alright, so now let's try and see about scraping something a little harder like fat wood. Now this might be where I run into an issue about how the bevel's cut on here. Slide around on this plastic, give me a second. I mean, obviously it's not the most comfortable thing. I've done it like this too. Just push cutting it. Put your finger down here and push off pieces. And it's not the most comfortable thing, you know. It really isn't. Because it's just not long enough. But that's not his intent here. You know, his intent is that it's a striker, and it gives you something small that you can work with. You know, his intent is it's a striker and it's something small that you can put in your kit, in your pocket, that isn't going to get in the way. You know, it's definitely not a substitute for your knife by any means. But, I mean, it's processing little curls, no problem, you know. Let's give it a test on the ferro rod, and we'll try this birch bark here, okay? Now what I've done is I'll hold it flat and angle it up just a little bit. And you can see, actually, you can see that it'll throw massive sparks, watch. All right. There we go. Took a little bit, didn't it? Perfect, it actually went out. I'm gonna use it. All right, guys. So let's try doing this with some curls here. I've got I think it's cedar and some poplar.
Making sure don't catch the house on fire, right? Oh, wanted to go just then. Try turning these upside down. That works better sometimes.
just put it out. There we go. Fireworks show, right? So that was a little bit harder. Honestly, it's a lot harder than with the knife. But for as small as what it is, you know, you couldn't expect it to work as good as the back of your knife or an actual handled scraper. You know, I mean, I can barely get one finger around this thing. But with the birch bark, you know, it wasn't hardly any trouble at all. So the fat wood, I got a feeling it's going to be difficult. All right, so let's give the fat wood a go. Huh? Look how easy that was. Don't know why it was a lot harder with those feathers. Now, let's do char cloth. Now this is where I have a feeling out of the two strikers that I got from him that one's going to outperform the other. And the reason that I say that is because I don't know if during the process of when he made this to get this hardened edge for scraping that it hardened the backside that you strike flint with. I'm not sure if that's what happened or what, but I will say this one, the English pattern one, throws much better sparks than the multi-fire one. So, and I can show you that here. And it almost seems like with the multi-fire one, you have to do it this way, where you strike this, and you can't strike down because it's too hard. You always hit this curve here, or you don't have enough to really throw sparks. So let me get a piece of char cloth here, and this is a pretty good rock. Let me get some better char real quick. Give me just a second. Let's do this one. This one's a lot better. You can actually get a full piece here. This is blue jean material. If you haven't ever tried blue jeans, it's some of my favorite stuff to char. Bounced a couple up there already. It's just harder. You've got to hit it a lot harder for sparks to come off. And it just doesn't it doesn't work near as well as his other one, the English pattern one. This is a great piece right here. I mean, it throws sparks, don't get me wrong. There we go. So, let me show you the other one now. Now this is his English pattern flint, or his English pattern steel, and I really like this one. This thing throws fireworks. Watch. other way. It's just, you've got a lot more area, and it just seems like it's a better heat treat or a better temper on the metal. You know, I've got no doubt that I can get a oh, that was it. I'm running out of an edge on this one. Let's try it up here. Multiple sides. So there's pros and cons to it in my mind. There's definitely pros that the striker with the beveled edge, the multi-striker, can do things that the plain English style steel can't do. You know, it scrapes our ferro rod really well. You know, it does a lot that a regular steel won't do. But the size of it, it's so small, you know, and it can hurt your hands and hurt your fingers if you're really using it as a scraper. So, and then with this one, it throws much better sparks, you know. I mean, to where pieces are just falling off that are still sparking, you know. So you gotta weigh the pros and cons with each one. But I just wanted to show you the two new strikers that I got real quick. I'll put up a picture and I'll put up a link to his website in the description. I'm gonna try to pick up some of this stuff so I don't burn the house down and so my wife doesn't kill me when she gets home. But you guys have a good one, and I will be back with another video soon. Thanks for watching.